Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Otto Tom. So if you like the content that I'm sharing here, don't forget to hit the like button and then also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you want to see more videos like this. How can you travel the world when you're not rich? Most people love to travel. Most people want to travel, but not everyone thinks that they can afford to travel. Most people think that maybe they have to be rich to be able to travel. But I'm here, the preacher, to tell you, I'm not a preacher of love. I'm here to tell you that you can still travel even though you are not rich. The first thing you want to consider when you think of traveling, you need to define your priorities. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to determine what kind of trip do I want. Is there any particular thing of interest to me? Am I looking to, is it an adventure? What are the things that I would like to do at my destination? What kind of trip am I looking for? Am I looking at a beach vacation? Am I looking at a trip where I want to connect with people and learn about the culture? Am I looking at a trip where I just want to, relax and then pamper myself? These are the things that you need to consider because it would determine how much, it would help you define how much you're going to spend on your trip. Two people may be going on a trip to the same destination, but each of them might have different objectives for their vacation. I might be traveling because I want to go on an adventure, I want to meet people, I want to learn a new culture. But the second person might be traveling, oh no, I have worked so hard, I really just want to find somewhere nice, maybe like a beach vacation, and then maybe like relax and unwind and maybe just enjoy myself before I come home. So when you define what kind of trip you want to have, it would help you determine what would be a priority to you, and then also at the same time you can also determine what you can give up in order to achieve your travel goals. The next thing you want to do is to determine the cost of your trip. This is a major part of deciding if you would travel or not. Yes, everybody wants to, we all, go on social media and then we see beautiful pictures of a destination. Everybody wants to have that, but you have to, tell yourself the truth. There's no point wanting to go to the Maldives and stay at, let's say an overwater bungalow when you know that you cannot afford it. How do you determine the cost of your trip? First, you need to determine how much your flight airfare would cost. You should also determine how much the accommodation would cost, and then you also need to determine how much you would need, let's say, as your pocket money. And in helping you determine the cost of your trip, it's very simple. Most people most times just tell me, oh, they come, send me a message and then tell me, I want to travel to this destination. How much would it cost for me to travel to this destination? And most times I always ask them, it's important for you to be specific when you come to me with that kind of request, because I don't read minds. You have to be specific. You tell me, oh, I would like to travel, let's say, for example, I would like to travel to Dubai in December. Do you have an idea how much it would cost if I travel for 7 days? So already I have a time frame in my, I have a period, I have the period that you intend to travel. And then I also have the number of days that you would like to travel. Because if you come at me like that, I would always ask, what is your budget? Because you should have a budget. If you earn a certain amount of money and then you have set aside a certain amount of money, or maybe you haven't set aside that amount of money, you just want to find out how much do I need to set aside. To be able to determine that, you have to decide, okay, how long are you traveling for? You know, if you're traveling on a budget, you want to make your trip as short as possible. Unless you have a family member that you will be staying with, you want to make your trip as short as possible, because if you're traveling for 2 weeks, you're going to be paying for accommodation for the entire 2 weeks. But if you cut your trip to 7 days, you'll probably be paying for just 7 days. How do you determine the cost of your trip? I use Skyscanner. You know, Skyscanner usually would help me determine, you know, the cost of my flight ticket. And then for hotels, it's very simple. I use booking.com. Booking.com does it for me, you know. When you go to booking.com, you would have the option of narrowing your search to your budget. So you have your flight ticket, and then you have your accommodation. That would give you, you know, an estimate of what you require. Now, I'm not going to go into details of, oh, do you require a visa? I'm assuming that maybe you have sorted, you know, it's easy to find out, you know, the visa requirements. You just go online to the website and then find out if you need a visa to, you know, visit this destination, and, you know, how much it would cost. You know, that's public knowledge. So if you actually go to the portal, to the website of the destination of interest, then you would get all the information that you will need. And like I always advise people, when you apply for visas, make this application yourself, because by the time you start engaging people, you think, oh, I need a professional to help me, you know, determine, you know, nobody can really get you a visa. You would have to, and it's in doing it over and over again that you would have the confidence to just approach, you know, any embassy. When I started traveling, I got rejected a lot, I got rejected a lot, but over time I just had to build that confidence. You reject me, I would get rejected the first time, I would go again, because I really do have genuine intentions to visit these places. So maybe there was something about my documentation I didn't get right the first time. The second time I would do right and then go again, because most times it's not as if you do not have good intentions. It just means that maybe there is a criteria, there is a documentation that you should have submitted, and then you fail to, you know, and then for whatever reason, the interviewing officer or the visa officer can deny your application. It doesn't mean that outrightly they do not want you, but if you do right the next time, it would actually improve your chances of being granted a visa. So do it yourself, so you don't have to pay extra for it. That's if you are on a budget. So you want to travel to Dubai in December, and then you have actually gone through the costing and realized that you cannot afford to travel to Dubai. Now, two things can happen. Two things should happen. You can pick another destination that is cheaper than Dubai, or you can give yourself time to save more money so you can go to Dubai. Now, which is it going to be? If you cannot afford, you know, to your desired destination, and you do not want to, you know, save more, you know, maybe give yourself time to save more, you can pick an alternative destination. Let's even say you cannot afford this alternative destination. You should think local. Now, what do I mean? Most times people think they need to travel really far to have a very good trip, but I have good news for you. You live in one city, you can be a tourist in your own city. You can travel to a different city. You can explore. I have traveled to destinations within Nigeria that I experienced, you know, and had as much fun that, you know, like I do when I travel abroad. So let's say you cannot afford an international trip, which I understand that most people may not be able to afford. Then you should actually look within, you know, your country and decide on where you can visit. Explore places around, be a tourist in your own city, because there are people who live, every day, maybe let's say they walk, they go from work, they go back home, they go to church, they visit a friend, they go, but they never really take time to explore places around them. There are times I post pictures of destination in, let's say, like Lagos, and then people come at me like, where is this place? And I'm like, it's in Lagos. And they're like, oh, I have never heard of it. So, and then I just give them that information. So most times you can have just as much fun exploring places around you. At least you know that you would be knocking out the expensive airfares. You wouldn't have to, pay as much money, that you would pay on international flights. And then you just pick a really, really nice, location. If you're looking for, let's say, a beach vacation, Lagos, for example. I live in Lagos, Nigeria, so I'm going to be using my city as, reference. So Lagos has really, really nice beach resorts that you can visit and just have as much fun as you would if you were to travel abroad. And it would also be cost effective. Where you cannot afford to travel far, and you cannot wait to save enough to make that trip, then you should actually think local. Think local by visiting destinations that you haven't visited within your country. Like I always say, once a year, go somewhere that you have never been before. Travel during off seasons. Now, people love to travel during the summer because if they have children would be on vacation, and then it's warmer in most destinations that they would like to visit. It's expensive to travel in those periods. For example, Christmas period, a lot of people would be on holiday, and then they would want to travel. They would want to travel during that period. If you're planning a trip and you're planning it on a budget, you should avoid, seasons like that. Travel just before the peak seasons or after the peak season. Avoid traveling during this when everyone else is traveling. So when everyone else is coming back, then you can, go on your own trip, because then you would actually be able to lock in on last minute deals, and then you would be traveling a lot cheaper than you would have if you were traveling during the peak seasons. Other than your airfare, your accommodation is going to be your accommodation would form a major cost. I always tell people, yes, it's beautiful to stay in a 5-star hotel. Oh, you just want to relax. You want to be able to walk out, wear your bathrobe, take a picture, have a jacuzzi in your room. We all love those things, but can you afford it? If you cannot afford it, then why do you want it? If you cannot afford it and you think, okay, if you give yourself time, you would be able to, pay for it, then by all means do it. But why do you want to stay in a 5-star hotel if you are in a city to explore, if you're in a city to connect with others, if you're going to be spending most of your time outdoors? If you can afford it, it's a different thing. Do it. But if you cannot afford it, there are lots of budget accommodation that you can actually pay for. You can actually opt for Airbnb. Airbnb, you can rent, someone's apartment. You can rent a room in someone's apartment. Yes, it's a stranger, but hey, nobody wants to kill you. You just use, because it's a regulated industry, so you know who you are dealing with, and most of those people go through processes of different stages of verification to even advertise their apartment on those websites. So you can get very clean and nice accommodation on a budget. Yes, it will not be luxurious, but it would meet your need. Another thing you want to consider is that most people find it very uncomfortable, but until you have tried it once, you realize that it's probably not as bad as you think. Hostel is also an option for people who do not, who are traveling on a budget. Now, it's not in every city that you can afford, to, let's say, stay in a hostel. But one continent I know hostels really do well is Europe, because a lot of people want to see, once you start traveling, Europe is a continent you want to explore, because if you land in one country, you can explore 5 countries just within the boundaries. It has that option that you can travel wide and travel far, and then you have the option of backpacking. You can stay in affordable hostels, where you can either rent like a bunk bed or you rent a private room, and it would just even give you the opportunity to meet other people who are backpacking and also traveling on a budget. So also go online, and also look at those hostels, read the reviews, and then just assess what inconvenience that you can actually handle, and then enjoy your trip. You realize that the money you would spend in a hotel for 1 week, you can actually spend that in a hostel for 2 to 3 weeks. Another thing you want to do is you want to look out for last minute deals. You might be planning a trip, and then you think, okay, I have it all figured out, and then all of a sudden you find out that the destination you wanted to visit for so long, there's a maybe, let's say, the airline that goes directly to that destination is doing a promo. Let's say you want to travel to Dubai, and then go on, sign up, go to, let's say, Emirates and Etihad, and then sign up, to receive their newsletters, because most times they will send you deals directly to your email. So look out for those deals. Even on accommodation, you might find, let's say, hotels that are willing to say, okay, if you book up to 3 nights, you get the 4th night free. So you'll be saving money on the 4th night if you do that. So also look out for last minute deals. And then the next thing is, if you're also traveling on a budget, then it's important, join a group tour. And of course, I would recommend you join Workaholic Adventure. Now, why do I want you to join a group tour? Because for group trips, the planner, the trip planner would actually go through the pain of getting the best deals, and rates in terms of accommodation and flight tickets, just so the package would look attractive. If you join a group trip, first of all, you don't have to go through the headache of planning, that trip. You would have someone else plan the trip for you, and then all you just do is show up, pay your money and then show up. Why should you join Workaholic Adventure? No other group travels the way we do. Workaholic Adventure is an annual group travel event where we actually take our time and select tourist friendly destinations, and then we explore these destinations together as a family, as friends. We create the best travel experiences, and then we connect with some of the most amazing and happiest people on earth, and then of course we take the most picturesque photos. So normally we publish details of our trips every year, and then we invite people to travel with us. And then to travel with us, you just have to have the right attitude, because it's a trip where it's more like a travel and learning thing. So it's an experience. We just put together great adventures into one trip. So when you travel with us, you would find time to relax and then unwind. You would also find time to experience culture, and then you would find time to actually do tick a lot of those great adventures of your bucket list. So we've traveled through 3 continents so far. I think we have traveled through 4. We've actually been we've taken Workaholic Adventure to North America. We went on a cruise in 2019 where we visited Cuba, we visited the Bahamas, and then we went to Vegas. We've actually taken our trip to Seychelles. We've actually done a Mediterranean cruise, and then we've actually been to the Maldives. So we've every year we pick one destination, and then we do it big. So you can actually travel with us, because you can afford, you would be able to do that on a budget. You know, if you're traveling alone, it will be more expensive for you, but if you're joining us, it will be a lot cheaper, and then you will get more because, you know, it's a group, and then we were able to access group discounts and, you know, just have fun, you know, together. It's usually really, 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 really nice. You know, don't forget to hit the like button, you know, to encourage me. And also, if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe, you know, to my YouTube channel. And also, you can turn on notifications so that you would get alerts whenever I post new videos.